Joining us now, Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger of Virginia. Very good to have you on. So many points that Chris made, I want to jump to you on. But first of all, do you think, given what's happening in Congress right now on Capitol Hill, that a workable Republican Party can emerge somehow?
Well, I think it's deeply concerning what we're seeing. And certainly months ago, in advance of the November election, the pitch was made by my counterparts across the aisle that they wanted to be the governing party in charge. They won the majority, a slim majority, and have had months to prepare for January 3rd, 4th, now 5th. And so the fact that there is agitation, that there's dissent, that there's differences of opinion is not at all concerning. It's the fact that after months, they are still at a complete lock spot and unable to basically create a governing majority. We have so much work before us that we need to do. We need to work together. We need to find areas of significant compromise, areas of significant priorities for our districts and our communities. And, you know, it's so notable that as we are watching President Biden and Republican leader McConnell, meet in Kentucky, pull a group of people together and talk about what it is that can be achieved when we, work together and find bipartisanship. The contrast between the intra-party fighting that's occurring on the other side of the aisle is just, it's deeply concerning and certainly noticeable.
Congresswoman, good morning. Jonathan Lemire. Obviously, yes, a very vivid split screen yesterday between what we saw on the river there on the Kentucky-Ohio border and in the House of Representatives. But it's more than just Republicans can't form a government just yet. The House of Representatives doesn't exist. But it's also, you guys have some real things you have to tackle later this year. And I know the White House is sending signals that their legislative agenda might be pretty modest, but things like funding the government and the debt ceiling. These are huge stories with national implications. Is this keeping you up at night that you may not be able to get that done because of the infighting you're seeing across the aisle?
I think that it should be keeping everyone up at night. The notion that we would not be able to fund the government is not as simple as not funding the government. It is a complete shutdown of every agency that keeps us safe. The same people who are worried about and talking about fentanyl flowing across the border, they're now basically threatening to defund every element of our border security infrastructure apparatus and every person who works to keep us safe. It would mean shutting down the FBI, who's doing our counterterrorism investigations, IRS returns. You're not going to get those. I mean, the basic function of our country, if the government is shut down, that's what we're talking about. And then when we're talking about the debt ceiling, I mean, that's the full faith and credit of the United States. That's our ability on the global stage to be a world leader from a national security perspective, from an economic perspective. I mean, this is the severity and the importance of what it is that we're talking about. And it is really, I mean, being here, watching the disagreements on the House floor and the brinksmanship it does not instill faith for how we're going to get through to the next step. And so, I remain committed to working with anyone of good faith to achieve what needs to be achieved for the American people, ideally continuing working on really good policy above and beyond the basics. But at this point in time, even the basics are at least in some level of danger.
So, Congresswoman, speaking about the basic functions of government and the basic functions of the House of Representatives, one of the proposed rules changes that apparently the majority is going to pass and enact would be that a single member of Congress could propose to vacate the chair of Speaker. So if that passes and it becomes part of the House rules in the next 2 years, would you be comfortable saying that we will only have one Speaker for the next 2 years? I mean, we could have 2, 3, 4.
That's honestly a question for my counterparts on the other side of the aisle. Certainly, this rule has existed for many, decades, if not centuries. It was possible for one person to motion to vacate the chair. But those who believed that a Congress should function, that Congress should move forward, never utilized it. That rule change came about to make it so that one single person couldn't vacate the chair or put forth a motion because of some of the brinksmanship that began some years ago. And so at this point, it would be a question for those who are currently in disagreements within their own party as to whether or not they would motion to vacate the chair routinely anytime they disagreed. What happens at the point in time when appropriations bills are put on the floor? I mean, constitutionally, appropriating funds for the function of government is our duty. If someone disagrees with something in those bills, are they going to motion to vacate the chair? I mean, these are areas of concern because we are really in a circumstance that I think has gone beyond what people imagined could occur.
Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger of Virginia, thank you very much for being on this morning. We will be watching once again today.